Hello, card collecting family. I just wanted to make a video. This is my first video. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Justin. I live in Central Arkansas. I grew up just south of St. Louis, so I grew up a huge Cardinals fan. I was born in '83. I'm 40 years old, and so I collected a lot through the late '80s, early '90s, into the mid '90s, and then I took a huge break, like most people do, and most guys do. I know some don't. But most of us take a big break, and I did that, and whatever got in the way and things like that. And my son, who is 9 now, a few years ago started to play baseball, and we started to get into it and started to watch baseball together a little bit. And so I decided I would get all my old cards out and just start looking through them. And I know, I didn't know much. I know that they're not worth much, but to me, they just brought back this flood of memories and these emotions that I had when I collected them as a kid. And I would go to the flea markets with my mom and find these cards, these 50-cent, $1 cards, and just look and look and look until I found the ones I wanted, and I loved them so much. And it brought back all these memories. And so I started talking to my mom about that, and she said, "Do you remember when you collected as a kid and you had this, and I had this binder of cards, this Cardinals binder?" And I said, "Yeah, I remember that." She said, "Do you want that binder? I was going to wait and I was going to leave it to you, but I would like to go ahead and give it to you to see you and your son enjoy it and things like that." And so I said, "Sure." And I knew growing up that there was one major card in there, at least one major card, because we'd always look at it through the Beckett catalog. And so I said, "Sure." And she gave me this binder. My son and I started going through it. And when I opened it, it was vintage cards. They're all from the 60s. And when I opened it, the smell of those cards, the look of those cards, I just fell in love immediately. And so I started looking through these cards. Now, what was cool about this is that I can imagine my mom, because as a kid, I opened packs too, and I loved it. And I can imagine my mom as a kid opening these packs. And what I think is unique about this is a lot of times, your mom is the one who throws out all your cards, but the collection I got was for my mom, and it was her collection, and some of them might have been in even a little bit better shape since she wasn't putting them in her bike spokes. So, anyway, she gave me this, and I immediately went to the card. Um, you know, Opening it up, I immediately went to the card that I remember as a kid, and it was still in there, and I was like, "This is awesome." And so I started doing some research, and I took it to a card shop, and the guys were really nice, and they were telling me, "You've got all the big names in there from that era. This is a really cool collection. You should start getting some of these graded." Well, I didn't know anything about that. And so they started to educate me a little bit on grading and stuff like that. And at this time, it was, the 52 Mantle, the 9.5, SGC 9.5 had just blown up, and it was on auction, and they were telling me about that. So we decided to go with SGC. And so I sent a couple cards off to SGC, and I'll show you those cards right now. I sent the one off that was in there, or the one that I knew of when I was a kid, and it was this one. So Nolan's rookie. I'm holding it like this so you can see there was a 4. I love this card. Nolan looks so young, and he's about to embark on a 27-year career, and a fantastic career, and just it's a great card, and I'm so glad that I have it, but I'm also so glad that my mom opened it from a pack, because how cool is that? That's really neat. And so I also sent this card off because it's Mickey Mantle. Why wouldn't you send a Mickey Mantle off? The registration's a little bit blurry, but I love this card. It looks great. The back looks great. Centering's off, but it came back a 4 as well. And as soon as I sent those cards off and got these back, I'm like, wow, I love this. This is so fun. This is so awesome. I love having these cards. I love the way that it looked in these slabs. I didn't know at the time they called them a tux, and I obviously know that now. It was about 3 years ago. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to find a way to get into this hobby. And I started watching YouTube. The first guy I came across, like many say, was Mike, Baseball Collector. He has his own YouTube channel, Baseball Collector. Check it out if you don't know it. It's awesome. I learned so much from him. And then that led me to go to his podcast through Bench Clear Media, which is the golden age of cardboard. And then I started down these rabbit holes of all these people that he was having on there with him. I went to Chasing Cardboard, and then, recently in the last few months, Chris from Missouri, they've been doing their Showcase Showdown, and so I got on his channel, and I want to connect with people, and I love doing this, but I don't really have people that I connect with in the hobby, and so I want to connect with people, and so that's why I'm making this channel. I continued on, and a friend of mine said you should go after the 68 set, and I did that, and I'll show you that in another video. But I wanted to show you a few more cards because that's ultimately what I want this channel to be about. I love seeing people's cards, and so I want to show you a few more cards. All of these were in that binder. I've got a bunch more that I'll show later on, but these are the ones that I've sent off to get graded so far, and I'll send more off. After I got the 64 Mantle back and the 68 Nolan back, I sent off this one. 61 Mantle. It's in rough shape. I did say earlier that my mom maybe took better care of them, but this was the worst one in the binder. And I think she actually may have gotten it from her brother at some point, who was a little bit older than her. But I still love it. It's still a mantle. You gotta send it off, get it slabbed. It's a mantle. My mom had this as a kid. I don't know how she acquired this one. I know she opened a lot of 64 packs and a lot of 68 packs, but she had the 61, rough shape, knew it would come back a 1, hoped at least a 1 and not authentic, but it did come back a 1, and so I'm glad to have that one. The next, I sent off these 4 together. Sent off the 63 Bombers Best. It has Mantle in it, so I chose that one. It came back a 5. It's in great shape. And then I sent off a few more for my 68 set because I have several of those graded that I was buying, and I went ahead and sent off a few more from my mom. My mom opened this one, Willie Mays, 68. Came back a 5. It's in great shape. Centering's a little tiny bit off, but it looks great. So 68 Mays. 68 Hank Aaron. Way off centered. Had a lot of wax on this one, and I cleaned it off with, I did some research. Man, I've been researching so much. I did some research, and I cleaned it off with my daughter's dance tights. Cleaned all the wax off and sent it in. Worked out really well. Came back a pretty good grade. And then the last one I sent off, I knew it would come back a really high grade. It was this Carl Yastrzemski, my 68 Yastrzemski. My mom opened all these from a pack. So cool. And so it came back a 7.5. Like, I knew it looked good. It was centered nice. The back's a little off. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to get myself out there, get this thing rolling. I've got some other topics that I'm going to talk about, and I'm really excited about those. So thank you. I named this channel after Jack Buck and his Go Crazy Folks call on Ozzie Smith's home run. And so that's what I want to do. Let's go crazy card collecting. Let's have some fun. And I hope I get to connect with some of you guys. Thanks a lot.